for a high Alpha OneTV. So what I say and I say and then our first time about so and need new book so now I subscribe ya mine. Sine benye news be no she be a benye notification phone so no I be traffic so memory fi so be shamo down for so enye beti for moment kan some so tin him say enra that's ene na ebeka ora team no representatives document be a full of air criminalities on the ma John Dramani ma amunum hona no ena John Dramani ma say the esamete edema the current attorney general friend Dominic Mr. Dominic Ayeni. I say right now no in some NPP ni manager say NPP4 and say NPP4 you see or more criticize NDC4 say as a who be aba be show more to extend say omoka say oh I was say pass it through ebeka emra kwan so ne ade ni kwan so mo famra show mo sem kasi ye kwakwa chiwi ye kwakwa jiske frame ho was say the court ne ade keka ne mo pe especially nipa okasa sem former deputy attorney general just na ode bo Godfred ameno no ede keka kasa sem nyina asi hu bia be hye ni mu na right now ni me say bribi atwam no Godfred ame na man for so kan na no ama case we out of force in case wa kwesa in an audio just say babon tina Godfred ame confess nsem go ka say oh anyamia akofado any kind of hata na force me o no pressure me say me like me bibia ntentem ni ade just out of force in case you need de kwesi Japan de Akroma out of force is out of force de ewinia Godfred ame enim guase right now no in some more can say o say niema oral for na dia ba no e was some presented ma OSP Kesi jabe like yentiase anani presented ma Kesi jabe the time now Godfred ame we nyina or presented ma Kesi jabe ana for proper prosecution there be mwana mo family shem ye dem ope the out of force in call twakwan ni ade enti say the current attorney general no kase bia ono so emfama OSP then I'm meeting my but right now in some I just say near bo hard be ba OSP but name bo no kase be den a be investigation right now no out of the 39 cases 7 cases are dropping information at 10 chess I have no them OSP no OSP there prosecution be abemni that in zeno also more granted some interview be say a honorable Dom level heading Mr. Dom level can send be about that or na just say o present that document no but right now no coming good things in my betu epa near them come out at us
finally nully prosecute clearing people who have active cases that also involve corruption or corruption suspected cases. What's your argument here? How do you reconcile the arguments from both sides that you're clearing people and you're prosecuting people, but it's all corruption? What's your argument here?
Good. All right. So, of course, I'm not speaking for the Attorney General, but I mean, speak as a citizen. It's interesting. I'm happy you have Caään eään on this one on the program. When Caään eään and Godfred were in office, you see the kind of things they did. This Atufose matter, what did we tell them? That from the ethics of our profession and the law of disclosure, that case they should have been stopped straight away. I don't like the word stop. It was a must. They were just or what do you call it? It was an obligation, a legal one at that, to stop the trial between they and the trial judge. I mean, come on. We don't use the court's processes for political vendetta. You hear Godfred on the tape saying that it's Oforiata and Ekufuado who are giving him pressure. You hear Godfred on the tape coaching Jakpa to go give false testimony. That's perjuring a witness. Number 3, you hear Godfred asking Jakpa to go procure a fake medical certificate. And you continued, and the trial judge wasn't firm. And instead of her to have excluded Godfred straight from the prosecution, she made it as an advice and all that. It made a mockery of our criminal justice system. So, Dr. Ayeni is within the law to have stopped that trial. That trial was just embarrassing as a nation. It just showed, it basically showed that we didn't know what we were about. So I'm even surprised that they all can be lumped together. So please, let's separate them. Let's take case by case.
Okay.
If you don't have time for each case, yes, I can understand. Maybe we can do it 2 parts, but let's not lump them together. I hope has Tiayebua considered that they are forcing this.
So Martin, with all the officers who have been left off the hook now, which of them do you think, well, we didn't have the evidence to prosecute and so we should drop? And which of them do you think that we should have allowed the process to follow through?
Good. So now we've dealt with Fatu Forcing and Japa. The one that I'm curious about is the Collins Dowda one, because the money was paid, a lot of money, about 200 million, right? Was paid. So that one, I want us to go into it. I've said it since day one, since the nollie prosecutors and withdrawals were filed, that we want to hear from Dr. Ayeni the reasons for discontinuing that trial, because that money was paid and it's a lot of money. So I'm waiting for the reasons. My understanding is that Dr. Ayeni will come out in due course to give the various reasons. So when he does, then we'll scrutinize those reasons and see where to place the verdict. If the reasons are good, all well and good. If they are not, then there will be a clamor for the cases to go back to court. So
looks like there's an interruption in the flow of Martin Pebu's.
Well, let's bring in Alfred Tiayebua. He's Deputy Attorney General. Alfred, you are listening to former.
They had also called witnesses, and they had testified, and they were undergoing examination. Prosecution is a process. It's not an event. Accused persons under our Constitution have the right to challenge whatever orders that the court may make in the course of trial when they are being tried in court. And so, in this case that you mentioned, the accused persons, exercise their right to challenge most of the orders that the court were making, and we couldn't stop it because that is rule of law. And so, it's not as if we were not prosecuting; we were prosecuting, but we are not come to the end. And so far as we have elected to go by this the democratic rule, you must have in mind that people cannot be tried overnight. And say the Attorney General wants me to be in prison, so he goes to court and says tomorrow you are in prison. No. The Judicial is also there to ensure that the rules are obeyed. So nobody can determine as to when the matter may end or may not end. It's within the ambit of the law for an accused person to challenge every single process. And that's the very reason why in our time we made a proposal by way of an amendment to the Criminal Procedure Act, a Criminal Procedure and Non-Offences Act, that when it comes to interlocutory appeals, we must do away with them so that the prosecution can close this case before an accused person can challenge interim orders made by the court in the course of the trial. That one couldn't go through because of obvious reasons. And I watched the Attorney General, current Attorney General, do his writing. He's of a different opinion. He thinks that such a thing should not be brought. An accused person can challenge all the orders as and when he likes. That's how it works. So let's see how it goes.
Okay.
We're doing our work. We're given a mandate. In our own small way, we did what was supposed to be done. We didn't finish. There's another person in the seat. He's also reviewing. And as I said, he may have whatever reasons that he may want to have, but we don't have the reasons. So I don't want to judge what he's doing for now. Let's wait for him to come out with the reasons, and then perhaps we can interrogate it.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Tiayebua, before you go, I'm curious, in your expert opinion, how does institutional capacity and judicial independence play over here? If you want to say that corruption allegations have been politically charged, you may find evidence to back that. But does Ghana's judicial system have the capacity to handle such a Herculean legal task, or would there be a need to add special courts or tribunals to this?
The judiciary, as we have it, has the capacity to deal with all manner of cases. We have judges who have been trained to handle various cases in the various courts. We have lawyers in the country who also go to court to defend their clients. And so far as the judges are working and the defense counsel are also working and the AG's office lawyers are also working, we should come to that kind of realization that rule of law is also working. But most of the time, some of us think that so far as the matter has been brought before a judge.
Deputy Attorney General, you are listening to Martin Pebu there. Your response to some of the things he brought up.
All right, yeah. In terms of this debate as to whether the current AG was right or wrong in entering nori prosequi and then withdrawal, we are informed that the AG may come out to offer reason until I get to hear the reason that he has to back the withdrawal that he has done. I do not want to engage in any commentary on it because I occupy that office. The Attorney General is vested with the power to either discontinue by way of withdrawal or enter NP. The entry of NP is not obliged to give reason. When it comes to discontinuation and then withdrawal, that's where the issue is. So I just want to hold on now to come out with the reason that we've been told, then I can make an informed comment on it.
But how couldn't you procure, say, judgment, or why couldn't you successfully prosecute, for example, the one he mentioned there, Collins Dowda, for example, because we know monies were paid, there were issues. Why couldn't you prosecute that one, as well as Dr. Opuni of Cocoa Board? I mean, there were charges against him, but how come these two cases, for example, when you and your boss could not prosecute them successfully during your term, 8 years?
These were cases that were in court and prosecution was being mounted. In fact, if you take the two cases that you have mentioned, in one of them, the prosecution closed this case. The accused persons were ordered to open their defense. One of them closed his case. The second person also opened his defense, called about 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken. So at an advanced stage. So they were prosecuted. In fact, we were in court prosecuted. In the other case, the prosecution, before we left, you want the OSP to investigate and prosecute. Do you give such information to the Attorney General or to present such piece of docket to the OSP, or you walk in straight to the OSP to lodge a complaint? If you are talking about corruption, then from the legal architecture that we have now, I was thinking that the committee that has come up with this will have said, oh, we are just whistleblowers, as they kept saying. This is what we have. We are submitting our complaints or the things that we've had to the OSP. Or he says that the president could have yesterday said, this case, maybe out of the 200 or whatever, 50 of them are clear as a corruption. I'm referring these matters to the OSP for him to investigate and then possibly prosecute. But now, everything has been given to the Attorney General. So are you going back to the olden days where the AG was the one responsible for the prosecution of all manner of crimes, including corruption? For that matter, now the AG is now going to sift through and then indicate and then direct the OSP to engage in investigation and prosecution. I mean, I don't know. These are the questions I'm raising.
All right.
Well, let's usher in Martin Pebu because he's also online with us. Let's find out from him what he makes of the conversations so far. Martin, thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Good morning. Good morning, Sisi.
Right. I'm here with Bray. So I want you to weigh in on the selective justice debate. You know, in one breath, it looks like this government is committed to prosecuting those who are found culpable in corruption-related cases. And in another breath, it looks like we...
Abusian for any semana Martin Pebu, Equambred Eka, na ne semno kanache se eyadia. Niema nkofu edom be fasono enyasem ketwa etide Martin Pebu so chichimi etiye na ensema o kanache se niema nkofu edi eyatofo sin faso I say OSP Crampoy the Ambe Manchester Attorney General the time now is our former Attorney General Fanning Godfred Damino Babontin Bekika can sing be confessing at the day. I say Xpóṣe a yakufado ne kenofrata because was na pressure of the man now no thing. That means say cases award on the court no one kasa a Attorney General no then time no nim say a year bekan Godfred Dame when him say a dear a to force any enquires a year man to say new class of the court near the day. Now munim senka the right procedure I am a farmer a office of the special prosecutor Kesi job I am a farmer no as I say no in some NPP no enya sem ketwa after the oral no submitted that a year document no edema a year President John Dramani Mahama amunmona President John Dramani Mahama submitted those a documents in a year the current Attorney General for a year Dominic Mr. Dominic no I see right now no in some people say enche na prosecution investigation ni jail ni ade enche na ebi ppm ni ade ntia ma NPP amanyuko no panic ni ade ena sisi no wono mawia niema no wono mawia ban sase wono mawia ban cars wono mawia sika ni ade no especially ni minse ate ha ena sisi ada paezi ku hu ska bibebe ehwane mpass ni ade ema ni made fair bidwane ni ade ema the former president Caään ehann afunya say my dear sisi ada pa sini ni say o de unwi access ka no ema sisi no ankwango se hwe President John Dramani Mahama eba power no Caaan ehann afunya say sisi ada pa case no be hwem so oral from so denomination form in say document no presented the ma John Dramani Mahama no sa sisi ada pa case no enso wombi because ni kwa say o me de mo fa ne traza in sasa hodo a ya fanyo marking so afafa during vetting no kuze to black white ni nya pino ya de an so be de e be bitoja allege here be kan sigegu politank mu no as na man for say NPP as say sikagu politank mu no in say oral from be de be taken into accountable as say sikama for so de ko ganyana ni ade nyina no in say data document nyina no ni nyina o eno na Martin pebo de cheche no say sika wa fabian obe fie pie and also dom level so granted some small interview with Judicial house or Kesi ye chi obi akoko tum without collecting the money no emfa hwemba indi ye seni pakoni ko dem 5 years 15 years no ba obasa ba to sika no wi ano wedi no so ti de hon kire no indi seni pakoni wi $5 million I was say oral for no and I say Attorney General right now even Mr. Dominic no I added $10 million so the bon mienu no ede oje sene be after that no na ko custody na so na ko jail and na Dominic Dominic voye e kan sa assembly am kan sin bit ma chair and another comment bit mi so share more down for so ni bi ahwe Alpha OneTV Akroma.